Hey, welcome back. We're back with our retire early lifestyle, talking about all the things they're trying to rob us of our lifestyle. We're here in Puerto Vallarta in the tropics. Today I'm going to talk about some Whoppers. You knew that was coming. Yeah, I got Whoppers for you. Stick around. But here's the thing. Some reports say that 80% of Americans don't trust institutions now. He's real. I think he smells fish. Oh, he's coming at me. Watch out.
He's on.
I frequently go back into what I said in some of my previous videos to realign the thought process and perhaps fill in some of the things that I hadn't said in that video. So please, if you've been watching back-to-back videos, don't think it's the same video. If you're in a hurry, we do have chapter outlines in most cases underneath the video, but I don't encourage that because, well, if you're watching my videos because we're living abroad, which we have been for 12 years, I really encourage you to slow down, because you're heading into a culture that's not a 15-minute city culture. Just to be brief about it, you've heard of mañana culture, which you don't have to go abroad to have, but that's a different story too.
It's only 15 minutes when they're driving, huh?
Oh, okay, so the 15-minute aspect is in the driving. Okay, well, that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I got Whoppers for you. Stick around. But here's the thing. But what do you do when everything around you is just, I mean, I hate to use terminology like everything around you is a lie. When everything around you is unreliable. How about that? Just unreliable. Like, I touched upon an aspect of food in the other video, but it's like, you know, I was trying to warn people almost 30 years ago, and of course back then nobody was listening, so I have to be thankful in a way for what's happening this day and age, the last couple of years, because more people are listening. Some reports say that 80% of Americans don't trust institutions now. But back then it was more like 90% of Americans did trust institutions. Back 25, 30 years ago when nobody was listening, when I was trying to warn them. So I also like to give people a little bit of a background, sometimes a little bit of a history, just to get a well-rounded perspective on the subject matter. But this day and age, we have to start with the basics, like food. As you know, it has been said, control the food, control the people. What a wonderful thought, huh? That's just, what is that? Look at all those birds. It's more like control the food, control the birds. No question about it. We live in a different age. This is no longer about what the mainstream retirement press, it's never been about what they said. That's always been superficial, creating a lifestyle that it has so many, you know, I mean, with all the hidden agendas and everything we talk about, even so, there's still an aspect of enjoyment of being abroad. And yet it's like, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of beaches in North America, I mean, right? And of course the subject matter of cost. And in a time like this of hyperinflation, because yes, it is hyperinflation. I'm not saying it can't get any worse, and I'm not saying that we've seen the worst of it. Usually historically, the hyperinflation comes over a period of a handful of years. But when it comes hard. Like when the communists took over in 1920, when they took over Russia, they just practically destroyed the Russian ruble. I mean, worse than what you see in Argentina. And you've got people that want you to believe that, you know, you've heard the saying, something about past results do not guarantee, you know, it's like when you're looking at an investment, they give you the fine print and it says, don't think that just because we did well in the past that you're going to get those results in the future. Well, that's what it brings to mind when we consider the living abroad aspect. You might say, well, you are abroad. Yes, we are. We've been abroad 12 years. And I'm just saying there's just more to consider, and there always was more to consider, such as starting with the simple things like I talked about the unavailability of food and the quality or unquality of food in some of these places, and even here, very surprising. But I wanted to go a step further today and say, you know, you're looking at, I mean, just picking up a jug of milk, you know, I just want a jug of normal natural milk. That's all I want. It's such a challenge here. Everything here is like that. I'm surprised really that people here put up with this, that the locals put up with this from industry. No, you know, these people have not stopped playing tricks with labels. And when you go abroad, that doesn't end. You would be shocked if I told you that most of the milks have non-milk ingredients in them. And some of them have ingredients that are camouflage so that people will be bamboozled and misled into not understanding what they're getting. For example, you would be shocked. I've never seen this. Get a brand that says it's got deodorizers. It says everything looks good, all natural, just milk, and then it says contains deodorizers. Say what? I was in the cleaning industry for 25 years. Deodorizers encompasses a whole, it's such a wide array that falls under the heading of deodorizers. It could be anything masquerading as a deodorizer. And this is in the milk? You're like, what's your beef, right? Just pick up a different brand. It's not that simple. All the brands have been tampered with. That's what I'm telling you. And the tampering is camouflaged. You know, I mean, how many people think, oh, deodorizer, oh, okay, that sounds good. Excuse me, if milk needs deodorizer, you got a problem. Why does fresh milk need deodorizer? You know, it's like, why does meat need to be painted red? Isn't it naturally the natural color? What's wrong with the natural color? So the food is tampered. Tourists. And how many of these tourists are paying any attention to any of this? And so my videos aren't for the tourists. They're for people that are looking for a place to go. They know what's going on and they want to prepare. And so how do we prepare in a place like this, where the food's being tampered with? And I said in the other video, I can't find any naturally grown food products. And you know, and I talked about dairy, but it's everything. All of the food here has been tampered with and produces sickness. So what do you do about that? If you think it's not important to start thinking about something as simple and as basic as a clean source of food, your food supply, let alone availability of food. And we need to know what's in our food. There shouldn't be anything in our food. It should just be natural. Food was meant to be natural. When did large corps get in the middle of our food production and then become, monopolistic to where you can't get the food from anywhere from that? Where does this idea come from? Oh, right, incrementalism. Little by little, over the decades, over the years, little by little, we don't notice. Let me know what you think about that. Did you know there was monopolistic tampering of food and lack of availability of food in Mexico? Now, I know when I say Mexico, it's a big country. I'm sure there are spots where things are a little bit different. I know there are, because I have connections and friends in other places, and so I know for a fact that things are different. But in a place like Puerto Vallarta, which is like an international, I talk about it not just because I'm here. A lot of longtime followers know we don't promote. We're totally just shaking our head.
We're letting them know what's in
at the whole live abroad industry. It's just all one big commercial game. There was a blogger talking about how the Mexican cities were getting so expensive that they were costing just as much as the USA. Imagine that. I didn't say it, the vlogger did. And then she makes a video with a title like, what city to go to still find, reasonable prices in Mexico, or something like that, something to that effect. The whole video is about one city, with the pretext that Mexico is getting just as expensive as USA, so come to this city. And then the video gets over 1 million views within a few months. What do you think is going to happen to that city? I would be willing to bet that the person that made that video was hired by the tourist board, which is a conglomerate of vested interests and real estate interests and this kind of thing. And they're just going to blow that city up in prices. And it's just insane. And we encourage people to don't follow the leader. Don't go where these videos say go. When you see a video like that, what do you think is going to happen to that city? The whole reason why you even clicked on that video should be that you thought that Mexico was getting too expensive, and then you wanted to know which city to go to where it was cheap. But after it gets 1 million views in a few months, you really think that, you see my point? Moving on to the next Whopper. We live during a time when we can't believe anything anymore. And it's like, saw an article that said that Puerto Vallarta is the first city in Mexico. It has the dubious distinction of being the first city in Mexico to go completely digital driver license. Now, the next thing the article said was, how you do it is you download, of course it has to be an app on your phone, right? You knew that was coming. And then you have to do facial recognition to isn't that just wonderful? Isn't that amazing? App on your phone, facial recognition. Wow, where are we going with this? And then the article said, oh, 2,300 people have already downloaded the app. Really? Are you sure about that? Like, how do you know they weren't hackers? I remind people, especially the locals, anytime something is free, you're the product, right? You know that, right? Anything, because any of this free? No hay gratis. Gratis, ninguna cosa gratis. No, nothing free. Nothing's free.
No.
See? She said, nothing's free. See? So when something's free, you're the product. So if you're the product, that's just like those people in Kenya that are being paid a week's wages to, same thing, download an app, do facial recognition, sign up for communist coin, tracking coin for a week's wages. They have no clue what they're doing. Because as I said in another video, even if there was any merit whatsoever, which we have disproven the fact that there is any merit in so many ways in all our videos, but let's just assume there was any kind of merit to this idea whatsoever. Even so, hackers, once they steal your biometrics, you've been stolen, you're gone, because you can't change your biometrics. But not only that, what if the thief is the outfit putting it out to begin with? I mean, it's like if you trust institutions, and as I said earlier, 80% of Americans no longer trust institutions. And that number is going to go higher. And so if you can't believe anything you see, and you can't believe anything you read, and you can't trust institutions, who is downloading these apps, signing up and doing facial recognition? Why do you need that? You don't even need that. It's questionable whether you really have any control over that physical license anyway, because what one creates, one controls. But this is going a step further, where if your digital information can easily be shared and transmitted to anyone around the globe. For example, your digital information can be shared with any government in the world, including communist governments in China. That means that at some point, somebody in China or any other government or anywhere can cut you off. They can cut off your driver license. When you have a physical license in your hand, yeah, you can still be cut off, but at least you have it in your hand. So this is not like, oh, it's digital, so what, I already have one, what's the difference? That's the difference, because it's not like you could take a photo of your physical license, and if you want it to be on your phone, you could just show that photo. What, you're telling me cops can't verify your license? Well, if they can't verify your license, they got other issues. So the whole idea has no merit, and you have no reason to sign up, and you don't need it, because it's nothing but thievery and communism.
It's precursor to the CBDC.
You're going to be, it's a tool to control you and enslave you. So, I mean, who signs up to be enslaved? Yeah, I'll sign right up. Okay, sure, it's free. What do you think about all that? Tell me in the comments what you think about all that. All of the points that are raised, a lot of the times, these points are the finer points of a conversation that a lot of times, a lot of the articles that you read don't go into, and they're intentionally left out. And so I like to cover those. So let me know what you think about that. Thanks for coming to the video, and leave a comment below, and have a wonderful day.